I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about Aston Martin for a bit. So, obviously, you started Aston Martin basically when it relaunched. You had this really exciting, but also, I guess, daunting challenge of bringing Aston Martin back into F1 after a 60-plus year hiatus. What was your vision and perspective of that, from bringing this legacy brand that had such a rich history in motorsport, but also outside of motorsport, back into F1 after so long? And what were those core aspects that you wanted to continue to bring on that were, like I said, like legacy based, but then also bring it into 2021 as well?
So I guess on paper, it was the easiest brief in the world. So let's start with Aston Martin. It's exclusive, it's ultra luxury, it's British, it's beautiful, it's James Bond's car. It's average price point of $250,000. I think at that point, the average age of a purchaser was over 50 years old, very, very heavily skewed male. So if that's Aston Martin in 2020, 2021, let's look at Formula One, a sport that literally celebrates luxury and exclusivity. The amount of times that the world feed cameras are pointing at the paddock club, which is just above the pit lane, and they're showing images of people standing there swigging champagne. It is the ultimate sport that celebrates Paris Hilton walking down the paddock. So in so many ways, it was a square peg into a square hole. But, you knew it was coming, there was a but. There's a few other conflicting factors. So first and foremost, to talk about my passion as a fan. Now, having an exclusive brand and exclusive sport didn't sit very well with me. Underpinning by the commercial imperative to build a fan base, and maybe exclusivity wasn't going to work to help us reach out to a global fan base. It was 2020 going to 2021 when the world was going through absolute chaos off the back of COVID, social unrest, Black Lives Matter. If you looked at what consumers were interested in, they were talking about meaningful brands. Brands that had a place and used the platform to do good things. So I was at this crossroads where you've got, square peg into square hole would just be the ultra luxury team in Formula One, but a load of conflicting factors. And we kind of start by designing the brand with the core belief. So our belief is that sport has the power to change lives. So that's what we really, truly believe in. The people that I've recruited very quickly, they believed that core essence of the journey. Then you go about designing a brand purpose and vision. So we said, well, let's have the desirability of Aston Martin. Let's not lose that, but let's be a team that inspires as well as we go, because that's a really powerful message that we can inspire through the platform of Aston Martin Formula One. And then let's create a brand positioning that isn't just the exclusivity, but it's inclusive as well. So we came up with this amazing line that we use internally about creating sport's most inclusive, exclusive team. And any marketeers were just kind of twitching at that point. How do you have an inclusive, exclusive team? But it all kind of clicked into place and started to make sense that we were going to be Aston Martin, but we were going to use the power of the platform. Fan engagement, ESG programs, really change the sport, do F1 differently. Then it became really exciting. Because it wasn't the square peg, square hole, it was brave to go down that line. I don't even know whether the powers that be were expecting it or even wanted it. But I could prove from a commercial point of view, that's what would help us build a fan base. This is what will help us attract sponsors. 2/3 of revenue in a Formula One team is from commercial sponsorships. We don't have tickets to sell, we sell sponsorships. And it would help us to recruit a more diverse workforce, which gives us competitive advantage. So it made commercial sense, but it also made sense in the society in which we were relaunching Aston Martin into. And from there, we've done some amazing things with fan engagement, some ESG programs. Fan engagement, we formed a partnership with TikTok straight away because we wanted to be a platform to invite people in and co-create our story. ESG, a couple of weeks ago, we had Jessica Hawkins, one of our driver ambassadors. She was driving a Formula One car in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Now, it was only, 5 years ago where women weren't even allowed to drive in Saudi, and now we're putting a female in a Formula One car to inspire the next generation. So actual substance and programs that we believe change in the game in F1, but it goes back to that core belief that sport has the power to change lives.
It almost seems like you did it from the inside out. You built out that inclusivity and an exclusive brand within the company and then pushed it out to the brand as well. Was that a conscious decision, and how was that received?
I guess it's all happening at the same time because the one thing with Formula One is, unfortunately, you don't have 6 months to go away and help to kind of redesign, then come back. We were Aston Martin Formula One team on January the 1st, 2021, and we were racing, 3 months later. So the world was judging us from day one, and all we'd done is change the logo above the door from Racing Point to Aston Martin. So we had to be quick to go external with it, but try and bring the company and the workforce with us. And we're still doing a lot of that work now, looking at our internal culture, making sure that we grow into this new suit of a championship competing team, not just the scrappy underdogs anymore. But that in itself is a really interesting cultural change.